Tommy was 17 years old. He lived in a small, quiet town near the hills. His clothes were old, his shoes had holes, and his stomach was often empty. But he had a kind heart and strong hands. Every morning, he walked to town, hoping to find small jobs, carrying bags, cleaning windows, or fixing things. One rainy afternoon, Tommy was walking home. The clouds above were dark, and cold wind blew through the trees. As he reached the big bridge outside town, he saw a black car stopped. On the side, one of the back tires was flat. A tall woman in a long coat stood near the car. She looked rich, shiny shoes, gold watch, clean and neat. But now, she looked confused and worried. Her phone had no signal, and she didn't know how to change a tire. Tommy stopped walking. He looked at the car, then at the woman. "Do you need help?" he asked, his voice soft but polite. The woman turned to him. "Yes, please," she said. "I don't know what to do. And it's getting late." Tommy nodded. "I can fix it." Without waiting for thanks, he dropped his old backpack and kneeled near the tire. Rain started falling, but he didn't stop. His hands moved fast and sure, even though they were cold. In just 10 minutes, he had the spare tire in place. "There," he said, standing up, brushing dirt off his jeans. "It's done. You can drive now." The woman was surprised. "You did that so quickly," she said. "Thank you so much." Tommy smiled. "It's okay. I help when I can." The woman opened her purse and took out some money. "Here, take this." Tommy looked at the money but shook his head. "No, thank you. I didn't help for money." She paused, watching him. Carefully, "What's your name?" "Tommy," he said. "I'm Mira," she replied. "You're a good boy, Tommy." He smiled again, picked up his bag, and started walking away. Mira watched him go. Something about the boy stayed in her mind. He was poor, clearly, but he had manners, kindness, and skill. Most people would have taken the money and left. But he didn't. That night, Mira sat in her hotel room. She was not just a rich woman, she was also a famous engineer and business leader. She had come to this small town for a quiet break after working on a big space project. Her company was building a new type of spaceship that used rare materials and needed smart hands to help develop new systems. She couldn't stop thinking about Tommy. He could have taken the money, she said to herself. But he didn't, and he fixed the tire like a professional. She picked up her laptop and opened a file marked Special Skills. Program, Earth Candidates. Mira worked with people from around the world, and sometimes, not just from Earth. Her company was connected to a secret Earth Alliance program. It trained young people with unique talents to work in high-level space technology teams, some even on Mars or deep space stations. But they didn't just look for grades or school degrees. They looked for something more: kindness, instinct, courage. She typed Tommy's name in a new entry line. "Maybe," she whispered, "his life is about to change." The next morning, the sun rose over the quiet town, warming the wet streets from the night's rain. Mira stood near the bridge where she had met Tommy. Her driver waited beside the car, confused. "Ma'am, are you sure this is the right place?" he asked. "Yes," Mira replied, looking around. He was walking from that direction. She walked toward the road leading into the town, carrying only a photo. It was taken from the car's dash camera when Tommy was fixing the tire. The picture wasn't very clear, but it showed his face. Mira had searched for him online, asked her team to look up school records, town lists, but there was no full name or address. All she had was his first name, Tommy. She started asking people at small shops, "Have you seen this boy?" She asked an old woman selling fruit. The woman took the picture, squinted, and nodded. "Yes, that's Tommy. He helps around here, fixes things. Polite boy. Do you know where he lives?" The woman pointed to the hills, somewhere up there. "In a small wooden house. His father passed away. He lives alone now." Mira looked toward the hills. Trees covered the land, and narrow paths twisted upward. "Thank you," she said, handing the woman a few coins for the help. It took Mira an hour to climb the path. Her shoes were not made for hills, and she had to stop often to catch her breath. But she didn't give up. Finally, she reached a small wooden cabin. Smoke came from the chimney. It was old but clean. Tools hung on the wall outside, and a small garden grew near the door. She knocked gently. After a moment, Tommy opened the door. His eyes widened when he saw her. "You," he said, surprised. "You're the car lady." Mira smiled. "Yes, and you're the boy who didn't take the money." Tommy looked shy now. "Why are you here?" "I wanted to thank you again. But more than that, I wanted to offer you something." He looked confused. "Offer me what?" Mira stepped inside after he invited her. She saw the little room's simple bed, books, and a small solar panel connected to an old computer. It was clear that Tommy was trying to learn and build. Even with very little, she sat down and looked at him kindly. "Tommy," she said, "I work for a special company. We train young people who have skill, heart, and strong minds. We teach them science, machines, and even space travel. We don't look for rich kids or perfect grades. We look for people like you." Tommy blinked. "Me? But I don't have money. I didn't even finish high school." "I know," Mira replied. "But you helped a stranger in the rain. You fixed a tire with no tools. And you didn't ask for anything. That tells me more than a test score ever could." Tommy stayed quiet. The idea was too big. Space, training, a new life. Mira placed a silver card on the table. It had a glowing blue chip in the center. "This is your invitation. If you say yes, a shuttle will come in 3 days to pick you up. You'll train with others like you. You'll learn how to build ships, explore new worlds, and maybe one day you'll fly among the stars." Tommy looked at the card then. At Mira. "Why me?" "Because," she said, standing up, "the future doesn't belong only to the rich. It belongs to the brave." That night, Tommy sat under the stars, holding the card in his hand. The hills were quiet. The wind blew gently through the trees. He had always dreamed of something more, but dreams were all he had done until now. He looked up at the night sky, where stars blinked far above. "Maybe," he whispered, "it's my turn to rise." 3 days passed quietly on the hills. Tommy had not told anyone about Myra's visit. There was no one to tell, really. He lived alone, and the people in town didn't ask many questions. But inside his heart, a storm was growing, full of excitement, fear, and wonder. Every day, he looked at the silver card Mira had given him. When he touched it, it glowed softly. On the back it said only one thing: "Be ready. Sunset. Day 3. Look to the north." Now the 3rd day had arrived. Tommy stood on a flat rock behind his house, looking at the sky. The sun was starting to set, painting the clouds orange and pink. The wind felt strange tonight, like it was carrying something new. Then he saw it. A blue light blinked in the sky, low and quiet. It wasn't an airplane. It moved like it was alive, sliding through the air with no sound. Slowly, it came down toward the forest behind his cabin. Tommy's heart beat fast. He grabbed a small bag he had packed, one book, a photo of his parents, a notebook, and the silver card. He ran down the path through the trees. Birds flew from the branches as the strange blue light grew closer. The sound was soft, like humming wind. And then he saw it. A silver shuttle stood in the clearing, shaped like a teardrop, glowing from the bottom. It didn't have wheels or engines like Earth machines. It floated above the grass, calm and still. Ramp opened. A soft light shined from inside. Tommy stopped, breathing hard. He looked at the ship, then back at his home through the trees. He thought of his small bed, his garden, the books he read by candlelight. Then he thought of the stars, the machines, and Mira's voice saying, "The future belongs to the brave." He stepped forward. As he entered the shuttle, the ramp closed behind him. Inside the ship, the air smelled clean and cool. Lights glowed from the walls, and the floor was soft under his feet. A friendly voice came from the air around him. "Welcome, Tommy. Please sit. We begin our journey now." He found a seat near a window. As soon as he sat down, soft belts gently held him in place. Outside, the forest slowly fell away. The ship lifted into the sky without shaking. Tommy pressed his face to the window and saw the hills below shrinking. His cabin looked like a small dot between trees. Then the clouds passed below them, and stars opened up above like a sea of lights. He smiled. After a short while, the ship entered a floating station high above the earth. It wasn't like anything Tommy had seen before. The station was round, with moving parts and glowing rings. Ships of all shapes floated around it. As the shuttle docked, Mira stood waiting inside the gate. She smiled as Tommy stepped out. "You came," she said. "I couldn't stay behind," he replied. Mira handed him a thin badge. It had his name and a small glowing mark shaped like a star. "This is your pass," she said. "You're part of the program now." Tommy looked around. Young people from different countries stood nearby, talking, laughing, looking amazed, just like him. Some wore robes, others had toolkits. All of them were special in their own way. A tall man in a dark coat walked up. He had silver hair and kind eyes. "Welcome, new student," he said. "You are no longer just a helper or a fixer. You are a builder of futures." Tommy stood tall. He didn't feel poor now. He didn't feel alone. He was part of something bigger, something beyond the earth. And this was only the beginning. Tommy's days on the space station passed like a dream. Every morning, he woke up in his small but clean room. The walls changed colors with the time of day. The bed was soft. The air smelled fresh. Food was served hot and ready by small machines that greeted him kindly. He attended classes with others young people from all over Earth. Some were good with machines. Others had sharp minds for numbers or languages. But all of them shared one thing. They had been chosen. Tommy enjoyed learning. He was quick with his hands and had a sharp mind. When he fixed engines or connected wires, teachers noticed. One of them, a quiet woman named Lynn, often said, "Tommy sees what others don't." But not all was perfect. Sometimes Tommy would walk to the far side of the station where the training labs ended. There was a hallway there, quiet, dim, and always locked. The door at the end had no handle. It had only a blue circle that blinked once every few seconds. Tommy had seen workers in black uniforms enter that room using strange devices. He had asked Mira once, "What's behind the blue door?" She smiled but didn't answer fully. "That part of the station is for high-level projects. You'll understand more with time." That answer stayed in his mind. One evening, after a long day of training, Tommy was walking alone when he heard a buzzing sound near the hallway with the blue door. He followed the noise and saw a small repair bot stuck between wall panels. Its side was blinking red. Tommy gently pulled the bot free and opened its back panel. Inside, he saw that a small power wire had melted. He took out his toolkit and replaced the wire using a tiny piece of metal from his pen. The bot blinked green. "Thank you," it said in a robotic voice. "Repair successful." Then, without warning, it floated to the blue door. The circle on. The door turned green and the door opened with a soft hum. Tommy stepped forward. "Wait, what are you doing?" The bot hovered inside the room. Before Tommy could decide, the door began to close again. He ran forward and slipped inside just in time. The room beyond was quiet and cold. It looked like a lab, but it was different. From the other parts of the station, the lights were dim. Machines stood silently. In the center was a clear glass container. Inside it floated something strange. It looked like a metal cube, but it pulsed with light from inside. Symbols glowed on its surface, symbols Tommy had never seen before. Suddenly, he heard a voice. "You're not supposed to be in here." Tommy turned around. Mira stood at the doorway, looking calm but serious. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't mean to." The bot went in, and the door opened. Mira walked slowly into the room. She looked at the glowing cube. "You weren't supposed to see this yet," she said. "But maybe it's time." Tommy looked at the cube. "What is it?" She paused, then spoke softly. "That, Tommy, is not from Earth. It was found in deep space, floating near a lost satellite. We don't know who made it, but it reacts to human touch, especially people who are kind, honest, and brave." Tommy stared. "So why keep it secret?" "Because not everyone wants to use it for good," Mira said. "It might hold knowledge or power. We've tested many, but it hasn't reacted until last week." She pointed to a small screen. It showed a glowing line that matched Tommy's biosigns. "When you fixed that tire, when you helped without reward, it started to light up. It responded to your actions, even from Earth." Tommy stepped closer to the glass. "Do you think it's waiting for something?" he asked. Mira nodded. "Maybe it's waiting for someone." Tommy stood in front of the glowing cube. It floated inside the glass chamber like it was alive. The soft light from inside, it pulsed slowly, almost like a heartbeat. Mira watched him carefully. "If you want," she said, "you can try touching the glass. That's how we run our tests. It's safe." Tommy nodded. He stepped forward and placed his hand gently on the glass. For a second, nothing happened. Then the cube flashed. The light inside it grew brighter. Strange symbols moved across its surface, changing colors, blue, green, then gold. The room filled with a soft hum, like music from another world. A deep voice echoed through the room. It was not loud, but it felt strong, like it came from the walls and the floor at once. The words were not in English, but somehow Tommy understood them. "You are kind. You are strong. You are ready." Tommy gasped. He looked at Mira. "Did you hear that?" Mira's eyes were wide. "Yes, and we've never heard it speak before, not even once." The cube continued glowing. Then a beam of light shot from it onto the wall, creating a moving picture. It showed stars, planets, and strange ships. Then it focused on Earth. A blue light wrapped around the planet, and more symbols appeared on the screen. Mira stared at the symbols. "We need to record this. This could be a map or a warning." Tommy couldn't stop looking at the cube. Something inside him felt connected. "It's like it knows me," he said softly. The next day, the station was buzzing with energy. Scientists, engineers, and security officers came to see the cube. Some tried to activate it again, but it stayed quiet. Only when Tommy touched the glass did it glow. Mira spoke at a meeting that evening. "This is no longer just a training station," she said. "This is the center of a discovery, maybe the greatest in human history." One man in a dark suit stood up. His name was Mr. Wren. He worked for Earth Defense Command. "This cube," he said, "could be a weapon, or it could be a signal. We must control it before others try to take it." Tommy didn't like his tone. "It's not a weapon," he said. "It's peaceful. I can feel it." Wren gave Tommy a cold stare. "Feelings are not facts." Mira stood beside Tommy. "He's the only one it responds to. We listen to him." Later that night, Mira found Tommy in the lab, sitting near the glass again. "It called me kind," Tommy said quietly. "I've never heard anyone say that about me. Not like that." Mira smiled. "It saw what I saw, and maybe more." Tommy looked up. "What do we do now?" She took a deep breath. "We follow the message." The map it showed points to a place on the edge of our solar system. "There's something there, maybe a ship, maybe more knowledge." "And you want me to go?" he asked. "Yes," she replied. "You and a small team, but only if you choose to." Tommy looked at the stars through the window. He remembered his little cabin, the hills, the small garden. And now, he was being asked to go beyond the planets. He smiled. I came this far, he said. I won't stop now. 3 days later, a small ship stood ready. It was faster than anything on Earth, powered by new tech developed from pieces found near the cube. Tommy walked up the ramp with Mira, a pilot named Ray, and a scientist called Noor. Each one believed in the mission. Before leaving, Tommy turned back and looked at the station, from a poor hill boy to the first, chosen by something not of this world. And this was just the beginning. The small ship Starlight 1 moved quietly through space. It was faster than anything built before, using new energy drawn from the alien cube. Tommy sat near the wide window, watching stars stretch into long lines as they flew past Jupiter. And Saturn. Ray, the pilot, adjusted the controls while smiling. We'll reach the signal point in 3 hours, he said. Noor. The scientist looked at her tablet. The data is clear. Something is sending a pulse from the edge of the solar system, and it's old, very old, but still alive. Tommy stared out at the stars. Do you think it's like the cube? Noor nodded slowly. Maybe, but we don't know yet. It could be a ship or a message left behind long ago. Mira, speaking through the ship's communication screen, added, Stay careful. This mission is not just about discovery. It's about understanding who we are and why the cube chose you, Tommy. As they reached the far edge of the solar system, space turned darker. There were no more planets nearby, only silence and stars. Suddenly, Noor spoke. I see something. A small dot appeared on the screen. It was not a planet, not a rock. It looked like a station or a ship floating quietly. Ray slowed the ship and brought it closer. It was huge. Black metal, shaped like a ring, with parts broken and covered in dust. Strange symbols covered its sides, just like the ones on the cube. Noor gasped. This is not human. The ship moved slowly around the object. There was no sign of life. No movement. Tommy felt something deep inside his chest, like a whisper. Not words, but a feeling. He stood up. I think it wants us to go inside. Ray looked unsure. There's a small open gate, but it's tight. Tommy nodded. Let's do it. They entered the ship through a small tunnel. Lights inside flickered weakly, like they hadn't been touched in thousands of years. They walked through a long hallway. Strange metal doors lined the walls. Everything felt cold and quiet, but not dead. In one room, they found a glowing table. A small cube, just like the one on Mira's station, floated above it. Tommy stepped forward. As he came near, the cube lit up. Then, a voice filled the room. Soft, clear, and deep. To the humans who find this, you are the last spark of what we once were. Everyone froze. The cube continued. Long ago we crossed the stars. We built many things, but pride blinded us. We destroyed what we could not understand. Before we vanished, we sent a seed to a far world, your Earth. Noor whispered. Are they saying humans came from them? Tommy listened carefully. You were made not to serve, but to grow. We left behind tools to guide the kind, the brave, the honest. You are not alone. Ray looked at Tommy. That's why the cube chose you. You carry the spark they left behind. Tommy stepped closer to the cube. I don't understand everything, he said softly. But I want to learn. I want to help. The cube flashed bright. Then, from the table, a beam of light shot into Tommy's chest, gently, not painful. He stood still as images filled his mind. He saw machines building cities in the clouds. He saw people with lights in their hands flying between stars. He saw wars, then peace. And finally, he saw a single ship carrying a silver egg-shaped object toward Earth. Then, the vision stopped. Tommy fell back, but Ray caught him. What did you see? Noor asked. Tommy opened his eyes slowly. They didn't want to rule. They wanted to give us a second chance. Back on the ship, the crew sent everything they found to Mira. She was silent for a long time. Then she said, "Tommy, this changes everything. Not just science, but who we are as people." Tommy looked out at the stars. "We're not just survivors," he said. "We're chosen, and it's time we act like it." Back on Earth, the news of the alien cube and the lost ship spread quickly, but only in secret. Mira and her team presented the findings to Earth's top leaders behind closed doors. Tommy watched the meeting through a video call, feeling nervous, but determined. The room was full of serious men and women in suits. They looked tired and worried. Some whispered to each other, while others stared hard at the screens, showing images of the cube and the message. One leader, Mr. Cade, stood up. "We have a choice. This discovery could make Earth powerful beyond belief, or it could destroy us." He paused. "We don't know the true purpose of this technology. If it falls into the wrong hands, it could be a weapon worse than anything we've seen." Another voice, softer but firm, came from a woman named Dr. Lena. "We can't hide from the truth. This message is hope. It shows that kindness and bravery are what matter. We must share this with the world and teach everyone to be better." Tommy listened, feeling both hope and fear. The world was divided. Meanwhile, Tommy walked on the station's observation deck, staring at Earth spinning slowly below. The blue and green planet looked peaceful, but he knew it was not so simple on the surface. Mira joined him. "They're scared," she said. "Change is always scary." Tommy nodded. "But we can't keep this secret. People need to know." Mira looked thoughtful. "Maybe, but we need to prepare them first. If fear wins, it could lead to war." Tommy sighed. "I don't want to fight." "Neither do I," Mira replied. "But sometimes protecting what's right means being ready." Back in the meeting room, Mr. Cade made a decision. "We will keep this technology guarded. Only a few trusted people can study it. The public will hear nothing until we know more." Dr. Lena shook her head. "That is wrong. Secrets breed fear. We should teach kindness and courage like the message says." The debate went on late into the night. Outside the windows, the stars blinked silently. The next day, Tommy met with Mira and Dr. Lena in a small room on the station. "We need a plan," Mira said. "A way to share the message without causing panic." Tommy thought hard. "What if we start small? Teach children first. Show them that kindness and bravery are true strength." Dr. Lena smiled. "Education is the key. If the next generation understands, maybe they can build a better future." Mira nodded. "And we can prepare leaders to listen to really listen." Weeks passed. Tommy helped design lessons and stories based on the alien message. He spoke to groups of young students through holograms, telling them about the power of kindness, courage, and honesty. Slowly, people began to listen. One evening, as Tommy looked out at Earth's glowing cities, Mira came to him with news. "The public is ready," she said. "We will reveal part of the discovery soon." Tommy felt a mix of excitement and fear. "Are you sure?" he asked. Mira smiled. "It's time." On a bright day, the world watched as the leaders spoke openly for the first time. The alien cube was real. The message of hope and kindness was true. Tommy stood beside Mira during the broadcast, feeling proud. "We are all connected," he said. "No matter where we come from, it's our choices that make us who we are." The world listened, but far away, in dark rooms, some people whispered of power. Not all wanted peace. Tommy knew this was only the beginning of a long journey, but he believed in one thing: the future belongs to the brave.